Nepal started with Fate making a questionable dive onto the Philadelphia Fusion's backline on his own. Without his teammates to support him, he quickly fell, thus allowing the Fusion to take the point confidently. Fate feeding on Winston would be a reoccurring theme for the Valiant throughout Nepal and the rest of the series. With Sato on Winston, the Fusion's defense on Sanctum proved to be unbreakable. On maps where Sato starts on Winston, the Fusion have a 57% win rate. Instead of making the switch over to Reinhardt, Philly made the right call in keeping Sato on Winston during Village. On Village, Philly were able to successfully deny the Valiant's attempts to engage in teamfights. Making easy picks on their support line, the Valiant were unable to engage successfully. During overtime, Space made one last effort to stall the point, but was ultimately unable to stay alive. The Fusion easily took the map, 2-0. On Numbani, fans saw a confident Philadelphia Fusion starting on defense. The Fusion were able to hold the Valiant at bay for quite some time, but an unfortunate pick on Boombox caused a major upset in their defense. However, the Valiant's picks were incredibly staggered. This allowed the Fusion to come back and aggressively contest the point A. With a questionable Primal Rage where Fate just swatted at the air, it briefly looked like the Fusion would full hold there. However, the Valiant managed to rally back and were able to push through the Fusion's defenses and cap point A. The Valiant snowballed their way through point B, but the Fusion were able to regroup and stop them just shy of pushing the payload to point C. During Philly's turn on attack, it took them a while to get their bearings together. Members of the team were always being picked off before they could engage in any major fights. Finally, the Fusion broke through, but the Valiant returned with an even stronger defense. It took some time, but the Fusion were able to push the cart to point B during overtime. Then, during a nerve-wracking team fight where it seemed like no one would die, an infamous Poco bomb saved the day, and the Fusion were able to take the map 3-2. In true Philadelphia fashion, Anubis was where the possibility of a possible reverse sweep began for the Valiant. The Fusion's defense was a mess. The Valiant were able to push through and cap point A with ease. Philadelphia were unable to recover from the Valiant's push, and though Poco and Neptuno did their best, they were unable to stall long enough for the rest of their teammates to come back in time. When it came time for the Fusion to attack, they tried a classic bait and switch method at their first choke point. Going left, the Fusion waited until the Valiant had rotated before speeding through to the right side of the map and going high ground. They capped point A with more than enough time in the bank, but with EQO going off on his own while playing Wrecking Ball, the Fusion started to lose their momentum. It did not help that Iazaki popped off on Zenyatta, effectively focusing down both Sato and EQO once EQO finally switched to Brigitte. The Valiant managed to hold the Fusion on point B, and they took the map 2-1. The Philadelphia Fusion made the exciting decision to not run 3-3 on defense. With Carpe on Sombra and Poco on Zarya, fans were excited to see the Fusion trying to be creative with their defense. While it did not work, the Valiant destroyed the Fusion during every significant team fight. Their effort was recognized. Unfortunately for the Fusion, going back to the traditional 3-3 lineup on attack would not help them either. The Valiant's defense proved to be too much for them, and the Valiant took the map 3-0, with the Fusion unable to even touch the cart during overtime. With Busan being the final map of the night, Fusion fans anxiously kept their eyes glued to the screen, hoping and praying that the Valiant's history with control point maps would come back to haunt them. It was a tense first fight on Sanctuary, with both teams unable to cap until the Fusion were able to get a pick on Iazaki. Capping the point, the Fusion pushed back the Valiant with Sato using Primal Rage. Cockiness or foolishness found EQO alone by the Valiant's spawn. Effectively feeding, fans groaned as the bright orange Brigitte fell, but those groans quickly turned to cheers as Sato readied himself for a surprise shatter on the Valiant. Where most cheeky shatters fail, Sato's delivered. Finally, the Fusion were waking back up. Sato got another fat shatter that allowed the Fusion to take Sanctum easily. During Mecha Base, the Valiant were determined to make a comeback. The Fusion looked messy here, with Carpe even pulling out an emergency Doomfist to try and stall during overtime. The Fusion were unable to follow through on any picks they managed to get during the team fights. Mecha Base would ultimately belong to the Valiant. On Downtown, it briefly looked as though the Valiant would pull through and reverse sweep. Excellent communication and coordination from the Fusion allowed them to divide and conquer the boys in green, much as they had during Nepal. Thankfully, the Fusion did not get overconfident after managing to cap the point, and they decided to play it safe on the point. The Fusion were able to take Busan 2-1 along with the series. If you love great Overwatch League content, make sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Now, from our house to yours, thanks for watching.